Hi and welcome back to the garden. In this video I'm going to be sowing some sweet peas and providing you with our guide on how to get the best out of them. It's really great to be back and getting our hands into the soil and sowing some seeds. Now our seed season starts off with sweet peas. These are probably the earliest seeds that we sow. So around the end of February, beginning of March, we get on with doing this task. And the seeds we're going to sow today are a variety called Sweet Dreams. And these ones are a mixture of different varieties. So we have some pinks, some reds, some blues and some whites, and each one has been selected because they are very highly fragrant. And when you're sowing sweet peas, this is what we want the fragrance. Those of you who are familiar with the channel will know that we sow our sweet peas in these kind of containers. They're very tall, they have lots of space for their roots to grow. Sweet peas have quite a long root and they need the room. So if you don't have the space in the pot, they're going to sulk basically. You need to have space for those roots to grow. You can also buy root trainers, which are specific pots that have a lovely depth to them, and you can plant 1 or 2 seeds in each of those containers and they'll happily grow there until they're moved on and planted out. So these are what we use, and we use these pots specifically because we sow them in these pots and they spend their entire life in these pots, and these pots then get placed onto the ground and then the roots can come out of the bottom of the pot into the soil beneath. And we do that specifically because we do have a problem with slugs. If we were to plant our sweet peas without these pots, we would find that they'd completely be eaten. We wouldn't get any sweet peas whatsoever. Overnight the slugs will come and ravage the whole lot. So with these we have that extra depth, and it does give them protection from the slugs. The slugs don't want to climb up this tallness. And also when we do plant them out, we're making sure that they've got a good height on them already. So they're a bit more hardier and a bit more able to tackle the slugs should they come along. So let's get sowing. So these ones that I've said are Sweet Dreams, and these are going to be magnificent. Now sweet peas are one of my favourite plants. They're a beautiful climber, not just attractive, but they are highly scented, and they fill the room. If you pick some with scent, they fill the garden with scent, and they're a typical cottage garden favourite. We have a cottage garden, so these are perfect for adding to our repertoire of plants. So I'm just going to put some into my hand. So in a pot like this, I'm going to sow about 5 seeds. So the seeds are dark black and round, fairly smallish, but they are easy to handle. And what I'm going to do is just using my finger, I'm just going to press into the compost and make an indentation. And this is just normal multi-purpose compost that I'm using. There's nothing special about the compost, just normal shop bought compost. And I'm going to place each one down each of the 5 holes. So that's 5 plants in a container like this. And then all we need to do is just cover that over. And that essentially is the job done. Germination takes around 7 to 14 days, and they need to have some heat to germinate. So we'll place these inside on a sunny window ledge. Once they get to be a bit more mature and start growing, what we'll then do is we'll move them into our mini greenhouse where they can be protected from the worst of the weather. They are quite frost tolerant, so they will manage a little bit of frost, but they will need some protection. So our mini greenhouse is perfect. If you have a cold greenhouse, that's also perfect. A cold frame or just a sheltered spot, that would also be ideal. When the plants get to around 3 or 4 inches tall, so maybe 2 or 3 sets of leaves, it's a good idea to nip out the growing tip. And what this will do is this will encourage the side shoots to grow, and this will essentially make a bushier plant and produce much more stems from which flowers are going to be grown from. In around May time, we get these pots and get them situated into the growing position. So we make sure that the soil underneath where these pots will be growing has been enriched with a lot of compost and some farmyard manure. Sweet peas are really hungry plants and they need all that nutrition to produce all the wonderful growth and of course the flowers. We'll sit these on top of the soil, and as the roots grow they'll come out of the bottom of the pot and into that very nutritious soil. Sweet peas need as much sun as you can provide, and provide them with free draining soil. They don't want to be waterlogged, but they also don't want to dry out. So make sure that you do water them during spells of dry weather. Now, being a climbing plant, obviously sweet peas need something to grow up. We've used an obelisk before, we've used walls, fences, anything where they can actually grow. They'll grow tendrils which twine around, so whatever you give them for support, they will try and cling onto that, but you may need to give them additional support the bigger they get and the heavier that they get. And also remember that these can grow up to maybe 6 or 7 foot, so whatever you're providing, make sure there's enough room for them to grow up it. By around June, July, the sweet peas will begin flowering, and you'll be able to appreciate all the hard work that you've put in. It really will be worth it when you see those flowers. And the scent, I can't tell you how scented these are. A small bunch of these can fill a room full of scent. That's how fragrant they are. So it's so much worth growing sweet peas for that beautiful scent, that intoxic aroma that will just remind you of summer. Sweet peas are so generous with flowers. They will continue flowering through all the summer months and well into the autumn. The great thing about sweet peas is that the more you pick, the more they will be encouraged to continue to flower. So don't feel any remorse whatsoever about taking a few bunches and taking them inside. It's a really good idea through the growing season to feed your plants with a high potassium feed, so something like a tomato feed or a comfrey feed, and this will just further encourage those flowers to form. Remember to deadhead the plants. We don't want to have any seed pods forming too early on. Of course, if you do want to save seeds towards like the end of late summer, you can start to leave a few to form for collecting in the autumn. But during the summer months, it's a good idea to take the seed pods off, because we don't want the energy being used for seed production. We want to keep the flowers coming. Sweet peas have the ability to self-pollinate, but having said that, they're also very attractive to bumblebees and honeybees. So they're a really good plant for encouraging wildlife and helping the pollinators. Sweet peas can also be sown in the autumn, and this will give us a head start and get flowers much sooner than if we sow them at the beginning of the year. So these ones were sown last autumn, and as you can see now, we've got some nice healthy plants. These have been left in our mini greenhouse all through the autumn and all through the winter, and as you can see, they have withstood all of the winter cold, frost, and even the snow inside that little mini protected bubble. So what we can do with these now is, now that they're getting into a nice size, is we can now nip out the top. So all I'm going to do is a very growing tip. I'm just going to put my finger and my thumb and just take out that growing tip. And what that will do, like I've already said, is that will encourage lots and lots of more side shoots to grow, which means a much bushier plant. So if you want to have a head start on your sweet peas, sow them in the autumn and overwinter them. And this is the kind of thing you'll get to at this time of year. So that's the end of my guide of how to grow sweet peas. This is the way we do them. Of course, you can grow them direct in the ground. You don't have to use these if you don't want to. We use them because we do have a problem with slugs. And if you do have that in your garden as well, try this method, because we've tried it many times and it really does work. Thank you so much for watching this guide on how to grow sweet peas. If you do have any comments, please drop them in the comments box below the video. Please give us a like, and also please subscribe. Now remember, subscribing doesn't cost you a penny, it's completely free. So until the next time, please take care and we will see you very soon on the next one.